everyone. Today's practice is going to include a bit more of an energy boost. We are going to start seated for a couple of breaths, and then we'll come onto our backs for some movement, and then we'll quickly transition to standing to move around as well, and then we'll close with a seat. So if you're looking for a class that has a little bit more energy kick to it, but you also get in the movements all the way from head to toe, then this is a great one for you. Just make sure that you feel comfortable getting up and off the floor with relative ease for this one. All right, come to a seat that's comfortable for you. Leg crossing of choice, or maybe they extend out. If you'd like, you can always place something under the bottom like a blanket to lift those hips above the knees. And if seated is just not possible for you right off the bat, then you can always come to a chair or onto your backs for a moment. I'm just going to start with a little bit of a reset. If you came from somewhere busy in your life or in your day and you need a minute to come to your mat, come to your practice and let go of everything else, just imagine that whatever's happening around you, whatever grocery list awaits you, that you can fold it up and tuck it into your back pocket. And when you're done with this practice and this dedicated time to yourself, you can pull it back out and get right back to it. But for now, this is just you, just your time on the mat, dedicated for your space, your relaxation. The next time that you exhale all the way down to that last drop, pulling the belly in towards the spine, we're going to take 3 inhales together. Reach it up and open through the chest. Hold for a brief moment before you exhale it out the mouth. 2 more like that. One more cleanse. Nice. Find a little wiggle in the shoulders. Maybe they're rounding and circling forward and back on their own, or separate, together, apart. Same direction, opposite directions. And then as if you're drawing your shoulder blades towards the spine and then down your back, feel an activation in that whole girdle, so that the backside and from the armpits down to the hips feels like it's squeezing in just a little bit, not a ton. Free up the neck for a moment to wiggle around in any direction it needs to go in. Maybe it's circling around or looking left and right or dropping ear to ear. And then once you're satisfied with the movements there, then we're going to take some twists. So let the shoulders work left and right on their own. And the palms are going to move with you a little now. And then maybe the palms start to press into the legs to open your twist a little bit deeper. And now the head and shoulders are turning to look behind you. And the palms are starting to work towards your side and sweep. And to start, just go as deep as you can. Pull yourself with your muscle engagement. And then the next time that you shift off to the right, plant the palms wherever they land, look back behind your shoulder. And then if you want a little bit more depth, then you can place that free hand to the opposite knee and pull a little. And then just before you unwind, pull against that hand to knee if your hand's there, as if it's stopping you from turning and twisting. So you're actively trying to unwind your twist, but your palm is stopping you. The arm is stopping you. And then release, bring it back around. Give a few sweeps left and right to kind of reset the whole spine. And then we're going to let the arms shift and stick to the left. Again, using the core and the muscles to look back behind the shoulder. And then, if you'd like, invite the right palm to that knee. Press a little bit more into your twist. Look further behind you. And then just before you unwind, act as if your arm is a bar, and it won't let you turn back around for just a brief moment. You're pressing into the engagement of that arm and shoulder, and then release, come back to center. Do a couple more little twists left and right, again for that little reset. And then we're gonna come on to the back for a moment. So shift your way around. You're gonna roll down and you're gonna rock forward and back. You can have long legs or bent legs. You can also, when you're done and satisfied with your rocks, you can bring the chest and knees in towards each other, whether you lift the shoulders off the mat or not. Circle around through the hips in all directions. You can even extend the legs long. It's a bit of free movement here. And if you want another challenge, don't pay attention to what I'm doing. When you're on your back here, just move your legs in any direction that comes to mind. You can even be still rocking forward and back if that feels amazing for your spine. Let the left leg either plant onto the mat or go long on the mat. You're going to draw the right knee into your chest using your muscles, your hip flexors, and then your hands are going to come to the top side of that knee, the knee-shin connection. And as if it's a wall, press into it with the knee. And you can release and push again, or hold the push if that feels lovely and sustainable. You're going to release with either the push pulls or the pull, a steady pull, and then you're going to switch. So again, allow the knee to draw in towards your chest, a little towards your armpit before you bring the wall in, and then push into it, either bobbing in and out of the push or simply holding it. Release it, and then allow yourself to rock forward and back a little. Maybe you want to go back to those circles of the hips, but either way, we're going to come back to that seat and then to tabletop. So you might rock until you come up, or if you roll to your side, pick the opposite awkward side to push up. You'll know because it'll literally feel awkward to push back up. And then find yourself on tabletop, a little relief for wrists. You can always fold the mat over twice. Knees, if you want some extra cushioning, you can put a blanket under there. And I always start with a rolling and circling around the palms, adding a little bit of weight each time I roll around, going in both directions. I want to make sure the palms and wrists are nice and warmed up. You can grip the mat with the fingertips. You can even lift the palms up, get a little stretch at the joints, maybe lift the fingertips up. Basically any and all movement counts right now on the hands and knees. And then you're going to come back to your stillness with your tabletop. And on your next exhale, lower down to the belly. Nice and slow on the inhale, push it back up. Exhale, shift back slightly towards the heels. Inhale, forward and down. Exhale. Push. Exhale, shift back. One more time. Inhale to center. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale back. And then bring it back to your center. You're going to find a down dog. So tuck the toes, shift the heels back, and then get a few wiggles in. You can bend into elbows. You can play around with where the feet land, where the palms are. You can lift a leg and open up at each hip if that's nice and lovely for one part and another of you. And then once you've had a little wiggle and stretch time, no matter what your down dog looks like, you're going to shift forward either to knees or to plank. If you're in plank, hang out and drop the knees towards the ground a few times without touching, and then the lift back up. Now, if you drop down to your knees, you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to lift the knees a few inches off the ground and then drop them back down. So I'm going to keep going with the palms and knees down. The knees are lifting and coming back down. Tabletop. Activate all the way through the core, all the way around like you're laughing your heartiest. That belly is aching, the sides from your armpit down, your hips are active as well. And you can feel all the muscles along the spine working. And if you're in plank and you're dropping your knees towards the ground and almost letting them touch. You can always drop down to the knees if you need to. And then you're gonna come to the knees in a tabletop. And then either sit the heels all the way back or bring the forearms down, take a quick rest, head drops towards the mat. Maybe have a moment with the wrists where you circle them around, you flex in the opposite direction as if you're trying to scratch the insides of your wrists. Find that breath again, and then come into a tabletop. Once more, we're gonna push into a down dog for transition. So find your down dog, maybe you get a couple extra wiggles in, or maybe you just find some stillness if you enjoy hanging out in down dog. And then no matter where you're at, you're gonna walk the feet towards the top of your mat. Hang out for a moment, let your arms and legs go long. Let the head feel heavy. You might even take little circles in both directions. The crown of the head going round. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, you fold. Once again. And a fold. I love getting a bend in my knees for these earlier movements. On your inhale, you're going to reach all the way up to standing. Arms can fly as well. And bring it in. Feet are going to come more or less hips distance or maybe even closer towards each other. Yogi's choice. And we're going to rock forward and back on the heels, finding a little bit of balance here. And you decide how far you go forward and back. So your toes might just be lifting off the ground or the whole forefront of your foot. You might be coming all the way eventually onto the tip toes. Just a few more forward rocks and back and forth. And then shift the weight slowly into that right leg. I always like to keep a knee bend. It could be a big knee bend, it could be a little knee bend, it's up to you. But work that left leg back behind you. As slow as you can, you'll eventually come to a high lunge. Palms reach down towards the floor at your sides. If you're curious about any particular part of your body, you can always come hands to hips or chest or ribs. On your exhale, dip down slightly. Inhale, push it up. 2 more, exhale. This last time we're going all the way down to the floor. So inhale and then exhale, bring it down. Maybe hand comes to knees, a little extra help. Palms are gonna come down to frame that front foot. And then we're gonna take a few rocks forward and back. If it feels like the floor is really far away, then you can bring some blocks into play. You can also just stay upright and rock forward and back. If you don't have blocks, then maybe you have some books. Anything that'll give you some height. And then after a few rocks, we're gonna come all the way up. So if your palms are down, come up. And if you're already up, then you're gonna come to a nice low lunge here where that back toe presses into the ground. We're gonna find length from the tailbone to the top of the head, like you're shooting the top crown towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna shift it forward, find a good stretch into that front side of that back leg. You might even pull a little at that front heel. When you're ready to release, you're going to shift back to center, come into the high lunge. So back toes tuck, palms press into the knee, push it back up to the high lunge. On your inhale, reach the palms up towards the ceiling and exhale, bring into heart center. Shift the weight forward into that standing front leg and either drag that foot or maybe lift it slightly. Maybe you have a bigger standing balance you'd like to engage and play with for a moment. But either way, you're trying to challenge that front leg any way you can with a bit of balance until you eventually work your way upright to standing, all for our second side. So shift into that foot. Let yourself feel a little light on the other. Take your slowest step back into a high lunge. And then from the high lunge, palms reach down towards the ground, extending through the fingers. Inhale. And exhale, 3 dips. next one, we're gonna come all the way down to that low lunge. Hand might come to that knee for a little help. And then you can either stay upright or come to props or to the floor. Take a few rocks forward and back. And if you stayed palms down, then come up. And if you are just already up, then there you are. Press the top of the back foot into the floor. You might even bring hands to hips to see what's happening there. And then once you're ready to have a little bit bigger of a stretch to that back side of that, the front side of that back leg, then lean forward through the hips. You're still sitting up nice and tall from tailbone to top of the head though. You're gonna shift back to neutral. Palms come to that knee, high lunge to tuck that back toe and press it out. Inhale to reach the arms. And then exhale, bring it to heart center. Find your second standing balance. So you're shifting forward. Maybe it's all you could do today to drag that foot upright to the front of your mat, or maybe you have the opportunity to lift a little, or you work on something else to challenge your balance. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but you're standing on one leg and working forward a little. Eventually we will meet at the tops of our mats. And then we're gonna come down into a chair pose. So however low your chair wants to go. And I'm not super firm on where all your parts need to be, or whether you're sitting the lowest you can, or you're upright, or you have a little flip of the tailbone or not. But find a chair that feels, in a sense, neutral to you. You're comfortable in it. You might even be thinking, oh, I'm in my Barker Lounger, I've got my popcorn, and my favorite person is next to me. Hang out that tiny bit longer, maybe you go a little bit lower, maybe you come up higher. And then when you're ready, you're gonna melt towards the floor. And that might need a little adjustment with the feet. Palms, hands, all that can come into play. But once you get near to the floor, however you can get there, if you do need, I will make the suggestion to have your hands help you. If you immediately feel like you want to reach left, try reaching right, or vice versa, to lower yourself onto the ground. Just break the pattern. And then we're going to come onto our backs. However you get there, rock and roll, or a fold down. We're going to end with just a few bits of movement here on the floor. Bend into the knees, place the feet onto the mat, arms are at your side, and on your next inhale, you're going to shift the hips up towards the ceiling. Finding a little bit of a back bend here. You might be able to look down the front line and see if your hips are even. If one is closer to your head or your shoulders than the other, adjust. If one is a little bit higher towards the ceiling and one's closer to the floor, then adjust there too. And if the knees have splayed out, maybe squeeze them in a bit more so they're in line with the hips. And then next time that you exhale, you're going to lower down one juicy vertebra at a time. And then your second bridge can be what it needs to be. Maybe it's a little baby one, you just lift the hips, or maybe it's even greater than the last one, you reach even higher. And you'll lower down nice and slow, taking your time. And then I like to offer a few moments of play at your leisure here. So if you enjoyed rocking in circles side to side with the hips or the knees, if you need a little extra twist in your life, you might drop the knees side to side or hold them left and right in a twist. Another option that's really lovely to end in is Happy Baby, where the feet go up towards the ceiling, you grab onto whatever's accessible, and you can rock side to side, you can be still, you can bring one leg long, the other bent. Whatever you found yourself moving and working up to, then just keep rolling with it. I encourage you to find some movement that's organic to you. So Maybe take your eyes off the screen for a moment and just do what comes to mind first. Just a few more inhale, exhales with whatever you're up to on your mat. And then start to nestle in. Come to stillness. Find your last deep inhale and exhale, and let the breath fall to its natural pace. Feel an ease across the brow, through the cheeks. Feel light in the head, the heart, the belly, as you sink further down into the mat, into the floor. And then find a comfortable position that you can rest easy in without holding on to any piece of yourself. Draw all your attention inward. Find a few quiet, restful moments here. I encourage you to spend more time lying in this space. Push pause or turn your device off. And sip in the silence a bit longer. If you're ready to start your day or move on to whatever's next, thank you for your time today. And the light in me, the light in you, the light